Citizen General Acorn has brought the army of the Democratic Republic of Crimsonia to the doorstep of the Bergkäse, capital of Maustria. Standing in their way is the army of the Centre, commanded by Lord Flaversham. The two forces have watched each other across the Fetka Gap for a few days, before Acorn decides to move forward, destroy Flavisham, and occupy the Bergkäse. Acorn decides to attack on his left, the south of the field. The Crimsonian artillery is concentrated and unleashes a torrent of fire upon the Maustrian guards, who become pinned. 1st and 2nd Division begin the assault, with 3rd Division covering the right, or northern flank. On the far left, Crimsonian militia charge Maustrian militia, and are driven back. But the advancing Crimsonian guns have the guards in effective range now, and disrupt the regiment. 2nd and 1st Division orders assault on the pinned and disrupted Maustrian units holding the heights. The Maustrian guns do sterling work and pin the advancing guards, while on the left flank Crimsonian regulars drive off the militia. A Crimsonian unit that reached the hill destroys their opponents and then declines to pursue further. The position under threat, Lord Flaversham joins the guards to call them back to order, but fails. The guards remain in place, disordered and vulnerable. Acorn orders another charge up the hill and calls on 3rd Division to advance on the right. The Maustrians are pulling units away from that flank to reinforce the south. Crimsonian infantry push through the musketry and artillery fire to reach paw-to-paw combat, but the Maustrians have the high ground and push back, and decline to pursue down the hill. Meanwhile, the guards with Flavisham perform feats of impressive daring-do and drive the Crimsonian guards of 1st Division back down the hill. Acorn is not deterred, however, and calls for more charges and for the artillery barrage to resume, while moving himself to join and rally the guards. Devastating volleys on the flank disorder the Crimsonians and stop the charge in its tracks. The guns of Seabor's division unleash terrifying direct fire, disordering another regiment. Acorn decides to lead the guards back up the hill to engage Flavisham and his disordered unit personally. Effective musketry breaks the Crimsonians on the far left, sending them back in chaos. Meanwhile, 3rd Division moves forward to engage the Crimsonians on the right. Flavisham does the impossible again, and Acorn's guards break and run, fleeing back behind the Crimsonian guns. Acorn is carried along with them. Almost all of the Crimsonian left is pinned or in disorder, but the Maustrians are in no position to exploit the situation. They are similarly pinned and disordered. Acorn calls on his troops to rally, and they do. 3 regiments reform ranks and stand ready to attack again. On the Crimsonian right, Seabor's infantry units are returning to meet the threat of 3rd Division. Seabor's artillery is doing excellent work, refacing to deliver devastating shots in all kinds of threatening directions. The light cavalry are pulled back from the hill, allowing an infantry force to take their place. Acorn determines it is time for yet another charge, and launches the guards at a unit of infantry that have moved forward to shield Flavisham's guards. They reach the infantry, but must be exhausted by repeated charges, and fail to drive back their opponent. Acorn is again swept back by his fleeing guard. On the right, Seabor's guns devastate the Crimsonian infantry, leaving them vulnerable to a Maustrian charge. Seabor's infantry charge in and destroy the enemy, stopping at the edge of the ridge and assuming defensive positions. 3rd Division is now vulnerable, pinned and disordered, and with Acorn on the other side of the field and unable to assist with rallying the troops. Acorn has to rally himself and his staff, but is unable to convince the guards to reform at this time. On the right, Seabor orders his infantry down to engage 3rd Division's militia, while on the left, Lord Flaversham is finally able to rally and reform the guards. The hill looks stronger than ever. The Crimsonian militia of 3rd Division stand their ground, and the Maustrians are driven back. The day is now drawing towards evening, and Acorn orders 2nd Division to assault the hill with the support of the combined artillery, while Acorn himself rushes to the north to rally the now vulnerable 3rd Division. Seabor's guns do more good work, disordering the militia on the right. On the left, 2nd Division's charge breaks the Maustrians at the summit of the hill. They have been exchanging volleys for hours and are thoroughly exhausted. The charging Crimsonians push on, catching another regiment, and after a close struggle succeed in driving it from the field. The Crimsonians now hold half of the hill, and are in position to threaten the Maustrian artillery and flank. Seabor launches the light cavalry into the disordered militia, breaking them in short order and pursuing them to destruction. Flavisham pulls his guards back to support the artillery atop the ridge and to guard the flank. Acorn orders his infantry to charge on the hill, but they are stopped by furious grape shot. The citizen general realizes that the Maustrian light cavalry are now in his rear, and decides that discretion is the better part of valor, and falls back to his now rallied guards, escaping just in time as the Maustrian lights break off their pursuit of the militia and come screaming back into 3rd Division, breaking the disordered infantry after a close fight, and then pursuing onwards into the artillery. The gunners surrender or are cut down in short order, and 3rd Division ceases to exist. Acorn, now aware that his flank has crumbled, orders the exposed guards to make one more charge at the hill. This time their opponents are not guards, do not have Lord Flaversham, and are not on higher ground. The Maustrian infantry are destroyed, and the Crimsonians have won on the left flank, but the Maustrians still have the high ground, and the artillery there shatter their opponents with grape shot, before Acorn and the guards come sweeping up, driving the gunners away and taking the hill. Darkness falling, Lord Flaversham realizes that any further action on the hill is pointless, and that any advance by the light cavalry across open ground in the front of Crimsonian artillery would be suicide, and so declines to engage further and falls back, regroping as he goes. Flavisham and the army of the centre have done their job. The battle is a bloody draw, with neither side gaining a serious advantage, but the road to the Bergkäse has been blocked, and Citizen General Acorn is left trapped between 2 armies, Flavisham to the west and Goudarian to the east. Maustrian reinforcements are pouring in from all directions, while Crimsonia itself is under threat by the alliance forces landing in Casitiliano. First Citizen Laurel's gamble appears to have failed. Prince Stepka has been captured, Adon occupied, and the coalition nations are in chaos.